capacity and establishing a competitive electricity market. We also have seen great strides in the progress that is being made in the logistics sector, including steady recovery in Transnet's performance. But the impact of this work is yet to be felt in our growth and employment figures. The intractable impact of poverty, unemployment, and the high cost of living on the daily lives of South Africans is unacceptable. The persistence of low-growth economic growth, severe unemployment, and the impact of global trade instability requires that we should take action. We must therefore accelerate the pace and massively scale up the efforts that we need to take. We will focus on implementation and delivery. So it is going to be implementation, implementation, implementation. Specifically, we have identified 10 priority interventions to reignite growth in our economy. The first intervention is to use electricity tariffs and investment in transmission infrastructure, that is the grid, to drive economic activity. Among other things, this means preferential electricity tariffs for ferrochrome and manganese, as well as steel. We will fast-track the transmission development plan to establish or to install 14,000 kilometers of transmission lines for our electricity grid. The second intervention is to accelerate the recovery of our freight and logistics sector. Progress is being made in this regard, but we want to fast-track this. This includes the implementation of Transnet's recovery plan, private sector participation in rail and port operations, and upgrading of export corridors. The third intervention is to rebuild our chrome and manganese industries. We will finalize chrome and manganese export tariffs, implement defensive duties on dumped imports, and expand alloys and battery precursor production. The NEC resolved that the fourth intervention must be to improve the capacity of the state to manage major projects. This is to address infrastructure delays due to weak capacity and fragmented coordination in making projects either bankable or projects to reach a state of completion. We will professionalize the project management cadre, establish a cross-government coordination unit, and ring-fence catalytic projects. These would be the big-ticket projects that we want to see established. The fifth intervention is to drive local economic development and investment in local infrastructure, with a particular focus on townships and rural areas and small towns. We will establish municipal local economic development technical units. We will integrate local economic development into the district development model and link local infrastructure spend to industrial policy. The sixth intervention focuses on labor activation initiatives, as well as public employment. This requires a massive scale-up of the presidential employment stimulus and other public employment programs. Importantly, it will include reskilling for industrial sectors and expanding artisan and apprenticeship pipelines. The seventh intervention agreed by the NEC is to expand SMME support and investment by development finance institutions. In particular, concessional finance and market access for SMMEs should be expanded. Development finance institutions will be transformed into catalytic investors. The eighth intervention is to enable the growth of provincial economies outside the main economic centers. This will include the revitalization of industrial parks with localization targets, aligning these with specific economic zones and corridor planning. The focus will be on labor-absorptive sectors such as agro-processing, light manufacturing, cannabis, and textiles. The ninth intervention is to accelerate the diversification of our trade partners, to strengthen our participation in the African Continental Free Trade Area and address the impact of tariff and non-tariff barriers. This will include an emergency industrial support package for sectors affected by increased tariffs. We will expand exports under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, as well as exports to BRICS countries and indeed to other markets where we will be paying visits in due course. The 10th and final intervention is to ensure effective budget and macroeconomic coordination. We will develop a sustainable budget negotiation strategy in the context of the Government of National Unity. We will align fiscal, monetary, trade, and industrial policy and mobilize development finance institutions as well as pension funds for productive investment. And in the course of this, we will, of course, want to develop and craft innovative financing models or processes that will enable us to have the financial resources to be able to finance the various infrastructure catalytic projects. These 10 interventions align with and support the work underway in all spheres of government. They signal the urgency and the intent of the African National Congress as we move rapidly to address the economic emergency that we currently face as a country. The NEC resolved that an economic war room should be established in the presidency to coordinate cross-government performance, monitoring, and publish regular scorecards on progress. Fundamental to the success of these efforts will be sound institutional governance. Professionalization and merit-based appointments are going to be non-negotiable. The ANC supports the implementation of the Public Service Professionalization Framework, ensuring that the public administration is skilled, ethical, and insulated from factional politics. The capacity of the state to deliver on projects requires serious engineering, financial and project management capabilities that need to be rebuilt. And we will want to focus on this at all layers of government, at national, provincial, and especially at local government level. We need to rebuild and reform state-owned enterprises to be effective developmental instruments. We are already seeing quite a lot of progress in a number of our state-owned enterprises as they are regaining their own capability and also attracting experienced and well-qualified people to come and work in there. The efficient and well-governed state-owned enterprises are vital to economic growth and also vital to our national competitiveness. Corruption corrodes competitiveness. We therefore insist on consequent management, lifestyle audits, and enforcement of integrity standards across the public sector. The SIU reports that are coming through are demonstrating that we are serious about fighting corruption, and they will be acted on. The SIU has made tremendous progress in addressing or helping us to address the spate of corruption that has been spreading throughout. Government reform is not only about compliance, it is also about restoring public confidence and trust and enabling the state to lead investment and industrialization effectively. Economic transformation is the moral and strategic mission of the African National Congress. With coordinated industrial policy, strong institutions, and an innovation-driven growth strategy, the nation can reclaim its role as Africa's industrial leader. And we should say that in this regard, many that we interact with globally continue to see our country as the gateway into the rest of the continent, meaning that our standing and stature is still recognized. We therefore need to strengthen this position. This requires social partnerships to raise the level of capital investment in strategic areas for growth, innovation, and overall structural transformation. The effectiveness of these interventions must be measured in factories that are opened, infrastructure projects that are embarked upon, and opportunities that are created for a new generation, and an increasing flow of investment, both international investment coming through and local investors demonstrating their further confidence in the economy of their own country. Transformation is not an event. It is a process of building capacity, building confidence, but also enhancing our sovereignty as a country. Through ethical leadership and collective effort, the developmental state will secure prosperity and justice for all. Arising out of our meeting this weekend, the NEC directs its employees at all levels of government to act swiftly to finalize economic interventions that will rebuild our economy through ensuring that their APPs are streamlined to achieve all the three priorities of the 7th administration. Our organization has significant policies and plans that can resolve the economic emergency that we face. Our task now is to ensure effective and immediate implementation. Through the Government of National Unity, through provincial and local government, through all our structures and working together, we will undertake these key interventions to reignite growth and to create jobs. Through this work, we will give effect to the mandate that we have been given to transform our economy to meet the needs of all South Africans, leaving no one behind. Thank you.